Part 2, McCain-Obama Reframed. One fact is that no election in America is ever determined by one vote or 100 votes or even 1,000, except possibly the Virginia Senate election in '06. It might have had a margin of less than 1,000. But in general, this is not true. Therefore, and I think people know this intuitively, that their vote doesn't count, except as they wish to express themselves. So people appear to be pulled out to the poll by an emotional attraction to the act of voting for a candidate. And then they make up some reason why they're doing it that had nothing really to do with their going out and voting. That's not to say that they know this. All they know is they felt like voting, they had some ideas in their mind, but in fact what we know is that people tend to vote for candidates who they feel are somewhat like themselves, or a better version of themselves. People are likely to vote based on pre-conscious registering of the values of the candidate, the style of the candidate, the personality attributes. There are systematic differences in personality test scores between people who vote right center or left center in the United States, and the same personality attributes are present in voters in Italy when they choose between left center and right center candidates. So this is the way human beings are, and this is, this is what we're stuck with. And when you consider that your vote is not the only vote, then you may as well do what feels good. In the year 2000, I supported Bill Bradley for president against Gore. Gore was an egomaniac, I thought, who would do or say anything in order to get self-fulfillment. And I didn't think Bradley was like that, but he may have been. Had McCain gotten the Republican nomination to run against Gore, I believe I would have voted for McCain in 2000. As it was, faced with an option between two obvious egomaniacal scumbags, I voted for Nader, who would have made a horrible president. But it didn't make any difference. That wasn't the point. It was an expressive piece of behavior. It's my belief that Americans don't make clear distinctions politically against members of small ethnic groups or against people. They don't perceive people who belong to small ethnic groups as being different from themselves, unless they are in some dramatic way different. In America, and anywhere else probably, but particularly in America, I think people make clear distinctions between people who are black and people who are not black. there are also language differences between people, and I think this is something that makes them clearly different. But I don't, for example, believe Americans are likely to differentiate between Latino candidates where there is no large Latino population. And in the Democratic primaries, what I really liked was the fact that Obama did very well in Democratic primaries held in states where there were really no black people. Iowa, the northern counties of Nevada. These are, you know, ranchers in northern Nevada. Obama carried them, at least in the Democratic primary. These are people who didn't make a distinction, because if they had made that distinction, they would have voted for their own color. I'm 71 years old. I was born and raised in Port Arthur, Texas, in southeast. This is the southeast corner of Texas, between Galveston and Lake Charles, Louisiana. I've lived in Houston for the last 50 years. I went to college in New Orleans, so I'm well aware of the racial differentiation that Americans make. But if you look at the state of Louisiana, I mean, this is at least as racist as any area in the United States, and they elected a governor who is an American descended from people from India. I think Americans are capable of sending. My councilman here in Houston, the guy representing my district, for whom I voted, is a Muslim. I mean, there's probably a handful of Muslims in this district. The guy was not exactly like the people of the district in that he had a degree in engineering, he had an MBA from Rice, his wife was an oncologist, his son was a medical student. Believe me, in Texas politics, this is rare stuff. Anyway, he won against an O-line Houston politician. So, I think if you want to find out what's behind this ass-kissing of Obama, behind, you know, what appears to be do anything to win, read Dreams from My Father. I contributed to Obama's campaign at the very beginning, a year and a half ago. I was impressed by a couple of interviews I saw in 2004. I haven't seen that from Obama in this campaign, because I think he knows that to win, he has to pander, and he has to do something to trick white voters, enough white voters, into supporting him. Whether he'll make a good president or not, I don't know. I mean, I believe McCain is a bad choice personally. I believe that while he would have made a good commander-in-chief in 2002, this is not the right place for somebody like McCain, who wants to act on principle in a situation that I believe is hopeless. There'll be a part 3, because I have a couple of other things to add.